to America in Black and White, where we explore the diverse experiences and perspectives within African American communities. I'm your host, Charles King, and today we have a special guest joining us, Ade Praise. Ade is a talented filmmaker, writer, and activist dedicated to fighting for the rights of his community. Let me tell you all a little bit more about Ade. He is a writer and filmmaker and an all around storyteller, and think of himself as a social activist who believes that stories are an important tool in creating a better world. In 2013, he produced his first movie, Kumbaya, which got a warm reception from critics and film lovers. He later on proceeded a few years after to produce his first TV series, a dramedy titled Nuts as Folks. In 2022, he self published his first romance short stories for queers, Volume 1, and presently is working on Volume 3. These three masterpieces are doing well on the shelf of Amazon for public purchases. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Ade Praise. Welcome to the show, Ade. Mr. Praise. Mr. Praise.
I'm here. I can hear you.
Okay. All right. Welcome to the show. Is there anything else you'd like to add to your bio that I just described here for the audience?
You've said everything. I'm a writer and I'm a filmmaker and I'm an activist.
Okay. So let's dive right in. Could you share with our listeners a bit about your background and what inspired you to pursue a career in filmmaking and writing?
Okay. I I was born in Lagos, Nigeria. I grew up there, and then I schooled there. I studied mass communication in the university. However, while studying mass communication, I noticed I could write very well. So I was practicing as much as I was studying my course. So after my graduation, I came up with a script and then I started looking for sponsorship, which I eventually got. And then I produced my first movie in 2013. So that opened the door for me, and then I've been going.
Okay. Well, I mean that's excellent. So, so when you started this pursuit, was there something that was special that inspired you, that stood out to you most, that made you say that I want to become a filmmaker or a writer?
Yes, it's been an issue for us here in Nigeria telling our story, especially in the community, in our community. And then I realized that filmmaking is a very, very important tool to tell our story, to create awareness about our community. So it's one of the major reasons why I got into filmmaking.
Okay. So, with that being said, can you tell us your work often reflects important social issues and themes. How do you believe filmmaking and writing can be used as tools for activism and social change?
Okay, let me start by saying that in the cinematic world in Africa and Nigeria at large, um, queer characters, especially in Nollywood, let me dive into it directly. Queer characters in Nollywood titles were written as morally bankrupt homewreckers and rapists. And in years, that's the way they portray this, the story they tell about us. And then, in recent years, African cinemas have seen notable gains producing queer positive films that are addressing social issues and highlighting oppression and violence faced by LGBTQ plus people. There's a movie in 2020 that came out in Nigeria. It's titled Ife. The movie is about two lesbians lovers, overseen by LGBTQ rights advocate and filmmakers Pamela Audi and then Ipe Etim. This movie came out and then it addressed a lot of issues that the community has been facing, what we've been known to be, and what the the idea that they've been passing on to people from generation to generation. So this movie came out and then it started addressing this issue one after the other. So the quote is memorable for different reasons, a creepy reference to fast progression of lesbian relationship. The movie talks about it, and then a lot of people have been in the community in Nigeria, the LGBT community in Nigeria have been repressed. They've faced a lot of persecution and all. But in recent times, movie producers and filmmakers have started coming out. They found their foot. They started, they can't do that before. There was so much stigma to these things. You don't know if your movie will be socially accepted or if it will be banned. Anything can happen in Africa, in Nigeria. But now people are going beyond all these impossibilities. There are movie producers like me, breaking boundaries, moving all these boundaries away from us. They are producing all these movies, and then we have so many movies now talking about changing the narration that were already known to be. They portray us as moral. Now we have movies that are portraying us that we have a life, we are part of the community, we are important as much as the heterosexuals. So filmmaking has been a tool that we've been using in that regard, and a lot of orientations about us has been changed.
So let me just ask you this, because this is very, very interesting, and I'm loving what you're doing and how your approach for doing this. But so is it safe to say that you identify as LGBTQ?
I am.
Okay. So in that case, I'm really, really happy for you, because being a groundbreaker is the best thing in the world. So did you have any fears whatsoever when you just decided you were going to do your movies and films?
Yes, there are fears on ground because in 2014, our then president Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, the former president, passed the Same-Sex Marriage Prohibition Act that a lot of queer persons decided to go underground. So there are some fears to this thing. There is a 14-year imprisonment for someone caught in the act. So I cannot say that there are no fears. But then this is 2024. We need to start living our lives.
Right. Exactly right.
Yes.
I'm so proud of you.
Yes. Thank you very much.
And so, can you tell us this? Because your activism extends beyond your creative work. Can you tell us about the causes you're passionate about and the ways in which you advocate for change in your community?
Okay, one of the causes I am so passionate about is the conversion therapy. Now, in Africa at large, especially in Nigeria, there's something we call the conversion therapy. They believe that you're a taboo, and then you probably got the gay thing from somewhere. Maybe you were taught or something. I don't understand how they came to that conclusion. So they believe that you can be converted. So, a lot of factors have applied to this, especially religion in Nigeria. They believe that you, as a gay person, you can become straight with the right conversion therapy. So you go to many churches in Nigeria and you see, yes, it's happening here. You see a 7-year-old effeminate boy a 7-year-old effeminate boy that does not even know yet if he's queer or not. You will see them putting him through fasting and prayer, you know, you know, casting out demons out
Oh
of
wow.
them. So yes, it's happening here. You go to a lot of churches in Nigeria and in Africa, you will see, especially children that, they believe if you catch them young, they will change. They don't understand that this is who we are. There's nothing to change. This is me. This is you. You are heterosexual. I am gay. So there's nothing to change about it. But then the reason why I took up that importantly is because it is predominant in Africa. In fact, there's a script I just finished that really talks a lot about that, and people need to start changing their mentality, especially about conversion therapy, because it does nothing. You're just putting people under unnecessary pressure and emotional blackmail. It does nothing to them. And then, a lot of people, after trying to change or becoming straight and they couldn't, they end up getting depressed. They end up taking their own lives. I've seen it happen here. They end up, taking their own, like committing suicide and all. That all these things needs to be changed, and one of the ways we can change them is to tell our story and let people know that it does not work that way. This is who we are. Then there's no amount of conversion therapy you can give a queer person. They are not going to change. This is who we are. And then we need to start telling stories about that. And I'm sure other queer movie producers in Nigeria are already doing something similar.
Oh wow. So from the conversion therapy, has anyone like died from the therapy itself, like all the shock and all that other stuff that they do when they want to get that demon out? I mean, has anyone you know of that they died from that?
There's no way anyone, conversion therapy does not work. Not anywhere in the world. So when I see things like that, in fact, at times they even post it on the internet. When I see things like that, at times I just laugh, and at times I pity the person involved, the queer person involved, because they are just putting them under unnecessary pressure. They don't need that. You need just need only the only thing they need from you is your love. Just love them and put them. They don't need all this conversion therapy thing.
You are absolutely right. As a matter of fact, I think that is something that's like almost as worse as some of these countries that commit genocide. Because when you're saying you're going to convert somebody, you're going to make them be what you want them to be. I mean, that's basically not even a person. That's a shell of a person.
Yes, you're right.
So now let's shift gears and delve into your career in filmmaking. What are some of the challenges you have faced as a Black filmmaker in the industry, and how have you overcome them?
Well, one of the biggest problem in filmmaking in Africa, especially the kind of film that we really want to make, is the major problem usually is the capital. It is to make movies in Nigeria, especially, you know, a lot of things you have to put in place and all. So the number one issue is capital. And then secondly, when you want to make movies, especially queer oriented movies, it is scenes that are public scenes. So you have people waiting for you there to criminalize you. You have police trying to stop what you're doing. When they see that there's a scene where two boys are supposed to kiss, or there's a romance scene, they are there waiting for you, and then you start after explaining to them that there's nothing to this. Just at times you have to bribe them.
Wow.
Yes, you
So
have to bribe them at times.
they're
Just
still
allow
stuck
you
in the
shoot.
19th century.
Come again?
I said they're still stuck in the 19th century.
Jehovah save us.
Wow.
Yes, yes, but then I think we are doing a lot better. A lot better. I'm seeing changes and I'm happy about it. And a lot of people are coming out. There's no shame to this any longer. You can't
Right.
shame us again. We stepped out of that. We are not doing that again. Nobody's doing that here anymore. You cannot shame me because I'm a queer person. You cannot do that. So
Mhm.
we have to sit around the table and talk about it. I'm a human. You are
Right.
human yourself. We need to talk. You're right about valid. We need to find a way. We need to find an equilibrium point to live together.
Yes. So, as a writer, where do you draw inspiration from your storytelling? And how do you ensure that your voice is authentically represented in your work?
Okay. As a person, I have so much experience growing up. My family background, trying to um, accept my person as a queer person. I used to be a very religious person, a very, very religious person. It was difficult for me to accept myself as a queer person. So all these experiences, trying to change, trying to pray it away, and seeing other people doing the same are source of inspirations for me, because I know that I cannot be the only one passing through this. There are thousands of others passing through the same thing that I have gone through. There was a time that in my life while I was growing up, some of my friends till today they still call me pastor, because there was a time in my life while I was growing up I was trying to pray queerness away, and
I'm
then
trying to.
I'll go to church. I was trying to pray it away. You know, they made us believe that we were abnormal. I was trying to pray it away, and then I'll go to church and pray, you know, fasted and all, and then there was no change. I'll come back home to the same thing. It was part of me, and I didn't know. You know, I was preaching to my friends to give their life to Jesus. Oh no 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 no! Jesus wants you like this. He's not hungry with you. People are the ones hungry, not Jesus.
Yes.
Now I know that. So these are the places I draw, you know, inspirations from. They almost made me want to hate Jesus. But no, these are people doing their things. It's not even all about religion now. These are people, being human. They are the one forcing all these things out. So my experiences gives me a lot of inspiration, and I see the way people live their life. I see what people are going through, and then there was a particular boy that poisoned himself because he couldn't become straight. That's a strong
Mm.
story. If I have time, I'm going to write about that.
Oh wow.
I'm sure you must have gone through. No, yes, in this Nigeria, I'm sure you must have gone through a lot. You must have probably been disowned from home. No love, nothing. A young boy, a teenager, he killed himself. He murdered himself. So
Oh
these are
wow.
things that we see, and then we get inspirations from, and then we need to continue telling all these stories so people can know the essence of you know our lives, and they can understand that the more they push us, the more they make people lose their lives.
Right. Oh wow, that's definitely sad. I really hate to hear that. But before I move on, let me just do a follow up on that, because what I'd like to know, because with the strength that you're showing and what you're displaying, do you like lead a large group of people from the LGBTQ community, or do you just have like friends in general that you guys congregate and you all do things together to keep each other uplifted?
Thank you very much. So presently, it is against the law to congregate as gay persons in Nigeria. There's a 14-year imprisonment penalty for that. So you cannot come together to protest or come together to tell the government we want you to hear us, they already penalized that. However, we meet in batches to, you know, put things in place, help the ones that we can help, hear people out. I have a lot of people in my DMs to wanting some sort of therapy, facing one or two things. All these little things we help them with. And then I have a group of friends. We come together, we do things, secretly. We do things, we get in touch with people, we can organize a hangout, we talk about our lives, we talk about how we can move forward. Presently, a friend of mine who is an activist too, he runs an NGO, recently reached out to me to say, Ade, why can't we just start a podcast and start talking about LGBTQ and politics in Nigeria? Let them know that we are not just about sex, we are not just about HIV, we are not just about all these things. We are more than this. We are needed in the government as well. Let's start talking about politics. Let them see that we are involved in government too. You know, when he brought the idea to me, it was good. And then we are presently working on that now. We start bringing people to the show, including straight people. We start bringing them to the show. Let's talk about it. Yeah, there's nothing to criminalize us for in that. So that's what we do.
That is wonderful. And again, I got to say,
Thank
I'm really proud of you because, somebody
you.
has to do it. And I think that by you actually taking this on and letting the people come to you and you're actually giving them what they want, that is astronomical. You definitely need to
Thank
be
you.
commended for that. And I am so happy to have you here on this
Thank you.
platform where you can tell
Thank
people, especially not just in Africa, they're in Nigeria, but I mean, there are people here in the States that are watching this that should also know that when you have people that come together and there's a real purpose and you have to do what's necessary, together we stand, divided we
you. Together.
fall. And as
You're
that
right.
crowd gets closer and closer and closer, they're gonna have to change. They're gonna have to
They
change.
have no
And
choice.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that, and I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Your dedication to advocating for social justice is truly commendable. But
Thank
how
you.
do you balance your creative pursuits with your activism, and do you see them as interconnected?
They are 100% interconnected. My filmmaking is a tool for awareness.
Mhm.
Okay. My first movie, let me chip this in. My first movie, Kumbaya, that I did in 2013. While I was writing it, I infused a little gay scene into it. And then when my director, a straight person, was reading it, he said, "What is this? What is this that?" Yes. And I'm like, "Okay, calm down. It's my movie. You are just going to direct it, and I don't need a homophobic person to do that. So whatever issue you have with it, you need to drop it here now." And then he dropped it, and we shot it. In fact, the guy that acted that particular role, when he read it, he said, "Oh, are you sure I'm going to do this?" I said, "Yes, you." And he did it. It's in the movie. It's there. And when the censors board were reviewing it, they had, at every stage, I was having issues with it. So when the censors board was reviewing it, they had issues with it too. So we just had to, beg our way out of it. You get. So my personal creativity life and my activism, they are intertwined. It's a voice, it's a tool to reach out to people, to tell people that Ade is more than this. Ade
Mhm,
praise is more than being queer.
mhm,
I am intelligent, I am human, I have my quota. to give into the society. Stop seeing just the gay part. If you see just the gay part, you will miss on other parts that are important.
Yes.
Plus, why are you so concerned about what I'm doing with my genitalia?
Oh, okay. Okay.
I don't understand. Why are you concerned about
That is so funny.
that?
No, I mean, go ahead. I mean, hey, I like that because when you confront the truth and when you put people on blast like that, they have that quick reflection when they look at that man in the mirror and they say, "Oh my God, what's going
Yeah,
on?"
it's called a private part for a reason. Let it be private. Why are you
Exactly.
concerned about what consented adults are doing behind closed doors?
Yes. You're exactly
Consented
right.
in code.
Yes.
None of
You're
your business.
Yep, but they try to make it their business. I'll tell you that. And I'm just glad that that it's all over the world that the LGBTQ community is fighting back because that is something that I really do not understand. These folk that are trying to put themselves in people's houses in their private lives when they should not be doing that. Because there's a reason why you are an adult and the person you're with is an adult, which means you're consenting. What is the problem?
Exactly. What is the problem with that?
Exactly. There should be no. There is.
Not Nigeria alone, in Africa in general. We go through a lot. We go through a lot. Violence. You can even see the homophobia on the internet everywhere. If you come out that you're gay or you support any gay, even if you're straight, and then you are giving support like an ally to the LGBT community, they'll crucify you. There's something they call keto in Nigeria. Straight people will present themselves on the internet, on dating sites, as queer persons to lure you out, and then they will harass you, they will beat you up. At times they kill queer persons. And these are the
Oh,
stories we need to tell. This Yes, yes, yes. It's called keto here in Nigeria. So a lot
hmm
of people have been through it. In fact, 50% of queer persons, especially in Lagos, have been ketoed.
oh
I have not
wow.
been ketoed. I have a lot of friends that have been kidnapped. They will lure you out, collect all your belongings. They will, beat you up. They will kidnap you. They will ask for ransom from your people, and they are collecting huge amount of money, and it's still going on till now. You see why we need to tell our stories?
Yes,
Because
exactly.
all these people, when they were eventually caught and then arrested, the government, the security forces tend to leave them eventually, because the moment they hear it's all about gay people, they just be on their side. They
Wow.
just be on their side automatically. So that's why we need to keep telling our story the way we can, especially through movies, so that people like that, when they are caught, government can be behind us. We can charge them to court. We can get them prosecuted. And by the time we start doing that, they'll stop.
Yes. Yes. You're exactly right. Because there's got to be something that's got to be in place that's got to keep all that under control because that kind of violence is definitely not necessary. It's definitely not
Exactly.
necessary. Um, let's talk about the power of representation in media. Why do you believe it is important for marginalized communities to see themselves reflected in film and literature? And how can we work towards a more inclusive industry?
Okay. Truth be told, we are a minority here. We are a minority here, truth be told. And then if we don't get up and start fighting for ourselves, no one will do it for us. For example, what my friend that I told you about that, wanted to start a podcast, said
Hmm
something profound one day. He said, Ade, if we don't get in the House of Assembly in Abuja, no one
hmm
is going to represent us there. So we
Hmm.
need to go to school, we need to be educated, we need to make money, we need to be influential, and then permeate into their midst
Mm.
and sit with
Wow.
them and make
Yes.
the laws them.
Right.
Don't make it for us, we're making it together.
Yes. Yes.
You get so if we have a lot of representation in the house, it will be difficult for you to push us aside. So one
Exactly.
of the things that we are telling all these upcoming young ones, go to school. It is important. If it is not for you, it is for the generation of queer persons coming behind you.
Hmm.
Because we need you to go to school. We need you to make money. We need you to be influential. We need you on seat.
Okay, you have just frozen. Let's give him a second and see if we. Okay, you just came back. You was frozen.
Yes, yeah. So we
Okay.
need to we need to we need to start making the laws with them. It is time. It's enough is enough for some heterosexual folks to decide our destiny for us.
Hmm.
We need to be there. You cannot just come up with a law that criminalizes us. It's not done. You need to hear our side of the story. You need to understand why we are who we are. And if we are not inclusive in the house, we will not get the results that we want.
Hmm.
So we
You.
understand that we are a minority, but we are getting to the majority.
Exactly. And you know something? I'm just gonna say this today, and I don't really know because I have not been to Nigeria at this point. But what I will say is, I think that's the fear that these people are having, is that they are vastly becoming the minority, and they're trying to keep from becoming the minority.
That's the problem. Presently in Lagos, I was telling a friend that the number of queer persons in Lagos, it is not a secret anymore. We are a huge number.
Hmm.
You see people getting married to women on Saturdays in Nigeria. Saturdays are for weddings. And then you will be wondering, oh, okay, queer persons getting married to a woman because of societal pressure, religious pressure, all these things. We are a community, especially in Nigeria. We are a large community. And then I'm glad that people are now saying that you really do not have to be ashamed of who you are.
Exactly. You don't. You don't.
We are getting there.
And I think as long as they've got leaders like you, I will tell you, I think that that's going to get easier and easier as time passes by, because it's going to
We
get
hope,
to the
we
point
hope
that they're going to recognize that, hey, we can't keep fighting this. You know, they're going to have to give in, and they're
yeah.
going to have to make those concessions. They're going to have to.
Well, they are getting there. The only well, since the time they made the law, the SMMPA law against
Mhm.
us, I've not seen anyone they imprisoned yet. But then we are getting there. We need the law cancelled.
So, can you tell us this? Can you share a project that you are particularly proud of, and why?
Okay. So recently I I wrote some series, a book, and it's majorly queer. It's not even a series. It's a book, and it's quite romantic, and that is a major milestone for me because it really took me time. And then getting it on Amazon and marketing it in a market like Nigeria is not something that is easy. But then after so much also, I got it done. So my book is one of the biggest milestone that I've crossed. And then there is a movie I'm presently working on, The Therapy. I'm not supposed to say that. There's a movie I'm presently working on, The, the Therapy. The Therapy is going to wow a lot of Nigerians. It's going to wow them because we we are going to tell the story exactly as it is. We might face a lot of problems, they might want to ban it or something, but we will tell it the way it is. And then
Mhm.
when the movie comes out, I believe it's going to, have a lot of impact on
Well,
people.
I believe so too, because I think that sounds like something that's going to be life changing.
It should be. We are hoping to.
Now, I want to go back before I go forward. Let me go back because I wanted to tell you this because you know that first book of your shorts that you did, the erotic stories.
Okay.
That
Okay.
was that's actually a really good book.
Oh, it is. Have you read
What
any?
what was your inspiration when you did that? What made you decide to do that?
Um. Okay. Before now, I used to write erotic stories that weren't queer in the university, heterosexual. I was trying to be part of the normal world, straight people. But then I realized not too long ago that if I can do that. Why not have ours? Why why should gay people be forced to read straight people's erotics? We can
Hmm.
have our own. You
Yes.
get, and that's what we want. And it's got very good reception, even here in Nigeria. We got
Hmm.
very before we pushed it to Amazon. We got very, very. I'm presently working on the volume 4.
Okay, that's what's up. Well, I'm glad that
Yeah.
you did that because, like I said, it actually was really good because there's a couple of
Yeah.
authors here in the U.S. When I first actually heard of doing short stories like that, I just had no idea how that would come across. But then, as you see cross sectionally, for those that are like deciding not to just do whole novels, that they're just doing books of shorts and it's actually the same as a novel. It's just that you're getting a whole lot of different stories, where there's just everything
Yeah.
that you can imagine in the imagination that's happening.
Yes, you're right. They are like limited series.
Yes.
You have the
And
same thing in
so,
the movie world.
I mean, so I don't want you to leak your project yet, but it sounds like the inspiration for that project. I mean, like, is that something that you're just deciding that based on what's happening there in Nigeria present day is what you're taking as
Yes.
inspiration?
Yes, that's it's based on what we are presently going through in Nigeria, especially with upcoming quiz.
Hmm.
Children, children. Like I said earlier on, you will see a 7-year-old effeminate boy, and then you will think something is wrong with him. No, 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 no. Something is not wrong with the boy. Something is wrong with you
Hmm.
because the boy does not even know if he's queer or not. He's just being himself. And then you
Right.
are taking him to the mountains, to the rivers, to the bush, to the jungle to pray out whatever nonsense you think or whatever demon you think is in him. That's a big issue. That can
Yep.
traumatize the boy. So these
You,
things
you know
I've been
something?
seeing them. I've been
I'm
seeing
sorry.
all
Go
these
ahead.
things lately. It's okay. I've been seeing all these things lately, and then when I see them, it worries me a lot. It worries me a lot. And then this comes boils down to unnecessary belief in religion, especially religion,
Hmm.
thinking God is going to change him. No, 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 no. God's not going to change him. God made him like that.
Yeah, exactly.
They need to know that God made him like that. If they have the understanding that God is not going to change him, God made him like that, they won't put him through that trauma.
Exactly.
In fact,
Exactly.
let me make it clearer to you so that you have a clear understanding of what is going on. There is a church, a denomination in Nigeria. I'm not going to mention their name. There's a
Mm-hmm.
denomination in Nigeria. When they want to perform all these rituals on queer persons, trying to do conversion therapy for them, they start beating them with brooms.
Oh.
They'll they'll put candle, melted candle on them. The candle will melt on them.
Oh no.
Yes, yes, it's happening here. It's
That's
happening
torture.
here. Torture, exactly, that's the word. So it's traumatizing. So, and I see
Oh.
all these things. They will beat them with brooms. They will take them to rivers. They will. You shouldn't even do that to your enemies.
Exactly. Oh my God, that is
And that
cruel.
is cruel. So that's why this story needs to be. They need to be told. They need to know. Most of them are doing this out of ignorance or out of what they've been told in their churches or whatever religion they feel they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So they need to unlearn what they've learned. They need to
Mm,
know why someone is this and someone is that. They need to understand biology. We will teach them biology by force.
yes. Okay. I like that. Look, by force, like they're trying to pray the gay away, we gonna make you learn biology.
Yeah, because if
That's
you
a good
understand biology, you know that there's nothing you can do to anybody's chromosomes.
exactly. Um, what role do you believe art plays in shaping public perceptions and driving social movements?
Come again with that.
What role do you believe art plays in shaping public perceptions and driving social movements?
Well, driving social movements. Like I said earlier, there are a lot of things that we can, use. There are a lot of tools that we can use to drive all this social movement and activism that we are doing. And one of them is filmmaking. And then, there are other things that we can do as well to share our story. Thank God for the internet. The internet has been a major tool in getting our story out. The internet has been a major tool in getting our story out, and people are personally coming out, now to tell their story. So we're thankful for the internet. We are thankful for you know filmmaking. We are thankful for writers that are coming up. We are thankful for activists that are coming up. In Nigeria right now, there are a lot of activists, and they are doing very good job representing us well.
So let me ask you this. How do you use your platform to amplify the voices of marginalized communities?
Okay, one of my platforms that I use is my Twitter. You're on my Twitter. You see what I do there, and
Mhm.
I use my Twitter a lot to counter any homophobic person that I see come for queer persons. I do that politely because I won't let Twitter take off my account. But then, but then they need to be faced. These people need to be faced. They need to be countered, because when they spew this hate, when they spew this homophobia, most of them, they don't even know what they're doing at times. They don't know what they are doing. They just follow the trend. They just feel they are supposed to be hated. Therefore, I am going to hate them.
Mm.
They don't know what they are doing. So one of the things that I use my Twitter platform for is to politely shut them up.
Mm.
And
Okay.
it goes beyond Nigeria. Yesterday on Twitter, I was going through my timeline, Then I saw a lady, I think she's from Uganda.
Mhm.
I think she's from Uganda. I saw a lady, you know, coming for one of the activists there. I've forgotten his name. He's someone I follow. I think he's presently in Canada. And then she came for him, She was very homophobic and all. On a normal day, I wouldn't have said anything. I'm in Nigeria.
Mhm.
They are in Uganda. But
Right.
then I went for her. Like, you don't do that. You don't say that. And then she said something like, "You are in Nigeria, stay in Nigeria. This is Uganda." No, 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 no. This is the world. You can't come for him like that. You are wrong. You need to unlearn a lot of things. And I'm sure by the time she goes back to what I told her on Twitter, she will reason with me. She
Mhm.
would. So one of the things I do with my platform is to correct people, change their notion, help them to unlearn the nonsense they have in their head. And
Mhm.
at times, you know, they can get you a little bit tensed and angry that you have to hold them up on their jugular. I do that once in a while.
So, what are some key themes or messages that you aim to convey through your work?
Number one, being gay is not a disease.
Mhm.
Number two, there's no demon inside of you as a gay person.
Right.
Can you, if you say demon, can you wait? Do you know what a demon is? You
Mm.
won't even wait for a demon. So gay
Exactly.
people don't have demons. People needs
Mhm.
to know that. Gay
Mhm.
people are not demonic. Gay people are not sick. They are not
Right.
mentally sick. Gay people are humans. Gay people
Mhm.
need respect. Gay people need to live. They need to let them be themselves. They need to give them their own platform. These
Mhm.
are the messages we are, sending. Enough of the homophobia, enough of the hate, enough of
Mhm.
all these things. It is not helping the world in any way. In
Mhm.
2024, you are still hating on a person because of his sexual orientation, then you need to be checked. You need to be checked into a psychiatric hospital.
Exactly.
You are,
You're exactly
you are the
right.
problem. You are the problem, not the gay person.
Mhm.
Like I said earlier, it is none of your business what two outdoor decide to do with their genitalia. Consented outdoor. It becomes a crime when whatever you're doing is affecting another person or a group of person. As long as whatever they're doing is not directly affecting you or a
Mhm.
group of person,
Mhm.
what problem do you have with that?
Mhm.
Okay, you tell at times, in Nigeria, they will tell you that eh, they are now featuring gay scenes a lot on the TV. You open Netflix and then you see two guys kissing. Even in cartoons, you see two characters, same sex characters kissing. What do you want to teach our kids? And
Hello? Hello? A day you went out again. Ah, Ladies and gentlemen, looks like um, we've lost his signal. Um, we're going to see if we can get that back. Give me just 1 second here, please.
Hello.
Okay, you're back.
Sorry.
All right, no problem. So
Thank you.
no, thank you for thanks for being patient about that, and I'm glad we got that situated. Um,
It's okay.
let me ask you this next question. How do you see the
Okay.
intersectionality of race, identity, and activism in your creative projects?
Come again with that, please. One more
How
time.
do you see the intersectionality of race, identity, and activism in your creative projects?
Well, first and foremost, uh, whenever I am on a project, I don't have just gay persons there. So I work with straight folks too. For
Mhm.
example, my director, the person that directs most of my movies, is straight, and then he understands that some things are supposed to be business. So we can live together. Our differences, we can work together, we can live together, we can eat together. Our differences should not be a problem. Because I'm queer does not make you superior to me. Because you're straight or hetero does not make me superior to you. No matter who you are, black, white, Hispanic, whoever you are, the number one thing you should know is you are first human before that. You are first human before that. And you need to have it at the back of your mind that that should be the backbone of whatever you're doing. If hate is into whatever you are doing, then you are losing your humanity little by little, no matter, there's nothing that can justify it. So there's no issue with race. There should not be issue with race. There should not be issue with sexual orientation. There should not be issue with culture or any other. I can find myself in the States tomorrow or any other place on the planet. I should be free to be who I am. So that's what I believe.
Okay. What advice do you have for emerging filmmakers and writers who want to make a positive impact through their art?
Okay. The number one advice I'll give them is do not let any socio political stuff stops you. Do not be limited in whatever you want to do. If you can imagine it, then you can do it.
Mr. Day? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're having these technical difficulties. So what we're going to do is we are just going to go ahead and we're going to end the show. But we will do a special chat up session with a day sometime soon where we will continue this conversation. You all have a great evening and thank you for tuning in. And we